Hello all, welcome to Tech Thoughts. In this video, we'll be checking how to write Spring Boot controller unit tests. So usually people will be writing unit tests for Java using JUnit and Mockito. But for Spring things like Spring Controller and Spring Boot applications, there are other ways to write unit tests like integration testing. So Spring is already providing a great deal of support for this kind of things. So in this video, we'll be covering how to write unit tests for Spring controllers. In this unit test, we'll be checking how Spring controllers work in real life scenarios. To download the Spring Boot applications, we can go to Spring Initializer website. So if you have an ID like IntelliJ, you can directly open from the IntelliJ startup page itself. So here you can select the project version as Maven, and the language is obviously Java for us. And the Spring Boot version can be the latest version, latest general release version. So the group name I'm changing. So if you want, you can leave it as it is. And everything else, the name, description, everything else can remain the same. So the packaging can be jar and the Java version can be Java 11. So for dependencies, as we are working on Spring controller test, I'm adding Spring Web also. And as of now, we don't need any other dependencies, so we can generate the project. It should download a zip to your downloads folder. Go to the place where you have downloaded the project and unzip it. As this is a Mac, I'm just double clicking to unzip it. So if you're using a Windows computer, you can just right click and unzip the project. Once the project is available, go to your IDE and import the project. Okay, so I'll be showing how to import that in IntelliJ. If you're using Eclipse, you can do in the same way you're importing other projects. So from IntelliJ, we'll be opening the project that is already downloaded. We'll go to downloads and select the project. So you can open the Maven tab and select reload all Maven projects. So it will take some time for the dependencies to download. So we'll continue once the dependencies are downloaded. All the dependencies are downloaded now, and the indexing from IntelliJ side is also completed. So now you can open the project and go to source main Java, and we can see the Spring Boot application class. So here just start up the applications to see if everything is running fine. So initially it will do a build if you're doing it for the first time. So once we click this run button, it will automatically add a configuration for the Spring Boot application. If your application is running fine and it is not stopping because of any error, we can continue. So for us, we don't have anything added now, so we'll now add a controller. For adding a controller, we'll create a new package named controller. So we'll create a new package. So this window is accessible by pressing Command N in a Mac or Alt Insert in Windows. So create a new package, controller. So in that we'll add a simple controller that will accept a name and append hello with it and return it back. So we'll name it as hello controller. As of now, we are creating a simple controller. We are not adding any service with it. So we just want to unit test the controller. So we'll create a method that will return back a string. It will accept a parameter from the URL itself. And as of now, I will return hello plus whatever parameters we are passing in the URL. Okay, to make it a controller, currently this is a class. To make it a controller, we will annotate it with REST controller annotation. And to make this method respond to the URL, we'll add a get mapping annotation on top of this. And our URL will be, we'll add a path parameter here. And we'll do it like get greeting. So if you are getting something like /name/get greeting, we'll return back a greeting from this controller. and we'll make it a path parameter. So for that, we'll make it path variable. Before writing unit tests, we'll first manually test if this controller is working. For that, we'll start up the application. Once the application is started, open Postman. Create a request for localhost 8080, as we have not changed the default port for the Spring Boot application. Start whatever name we have to give. So we'll give it as tech and get greeting. That is our controller. For this, we should get a reply back like hello tech. So our controller is working fine. Now we can move to the unit testing part. For creating the unit test, open the controller class, and in IntelliJ we can do a shortcut command Shift T. So it will ask us to create a new test. Directly click new test. We can select the unit 5, and IntelliJ will automatically generate a test name also. Click OK. So it will automatically create a class for us, test class for us. There are different ways to write unit tests for Spring controllers using Spring Boot annotation or with WebMVC test. Spring will automatically auto-wire the mock MVC for us, but for this scenario, today we'll be writing it with mock MVC, so that no annotations are involved in this test. So other ways will be covered in a future session. So as of now, create a variable private mock MVC. So this mock MVC that Spring is provided will respond to the URL that we have annotated in the controller, but all the complete Spring context will not be loaded. So we'll create a setup also, so the before method also for the unit test. So for this you can press command N and create a setup method. So here we'll initialize a mock MVC with mock MVC builders. This is a class provided by Spring itself. So in this we have different ways of setting up mock MVC. We'll go with standalone setup, so that this will be loading only the controller, our controller class, that is hello controller. So this standalone setup will need an instance of hello controller. So as this hello controller is not dependent on any service, we'll directly create an instance of hello controller with a new. But if it is dependent on any other service, we can use Mockito to mock the service and create the instance of the controller with inject mocks. But that also we can cover in a future session. As of now, we can directly initialize the controller class. And we will provide, sorry, there is a typo here. We will provide the class name here, and then we don't need any other setup. We'll directly give it a build. So we can do some other setup in the with the standalone setup. We can if we want to include Spring security, that is also possible, and there are some other setup also. So as of now, for our scenario and in most scenarios, this is what we need. So for Spring security and all, it is better to test it with Spring Boot test or with WebMVC test. Okay, so our setup is completed, and we'll create a unit test that will respond to this URL. Now we'll create a test. For that, again we can press command N in IntelliJ and create a select test method. So we can select the name as, what we are doing is we are testing whatever we have tested with Postman. So what we have given a name as tech, and we got back hello tech. It's a good practice to name the unit test on what it is testing. So I'm giving it as given name as tech, return back hello tech. Okay, for this we can use some mock MVC. So mock MVC is having a method called perform. So the perform will accept different methods for get, post, and all the HTTP methods. So for us it is a get. This get method and all other HTTP methods are present as part of mock MVC request builders. Mock MVC request builders is available over this package. That is also provided by Spring. So we'll do a get here, and we'll provide our URL here. So our URL will be /tech/getGreeting. On performing this, so this perform will send back an exception. So it is giving an error because we are not adding the exception to method signature, or we are not handling it. For a test case, it is better to add it to method signature. Okay, Once we are doing a get, we are expecting the status is okay. So status also is available in our mock MVC result matches. So if you go to mock MVC result matches, so it's a static class. Select mock MVC result matches and status. So there are different methods for different HTTP statuses. For us, it should be is okay, and we can check for the content also. Again, we can go to mock MVC result matches, and there is an option for content, so we can check different things that is expected out of a controller here. So we are for our scenario, we can just check the status and the content. So we can check the content. So for the content also, we can even check the content type, and even as a string, or even if it is as a JSON. For this scenario, it will be a string, so we can directly check the string and give whatever is expected. So for us, it will be hello tech, and we can try running the unit test to see if it is working fine. So yeah, so this we have done the unit test. We have tested that the controller will respond for tech/get greeting, and the status will be okay, and it is returning back a string hello tech. The same thing we have done using Postman. So like this, different scenarios can be tested in a controller, like exception scenarios. For exception, what will be expected, what will be the status expected, all these things can be tested using mock MVC test. Okay, it is a very powerful tool. This can be utilized. I have seen many developers not utilizing it, so it's very good to ensure that our controllers works fine. So please add a comment if you want more scenarios on how to test different things in controllers using test. Hope you liked the video. Thank you.